and the clerk says, "I said you could squeeze the Charmin." Oh boy. Yeah.
Every week I regret my involvement in this entire enterprise more and more.
You're thinking about how can you unsubscribe to the podcast?
Right. Can I unsubscribe to a podcast that I host?
That I'm live. That I'm live. Right. How do I do this? Yes.
Right.
But then I'd be sacrificing all the millions in residual income that I get from this. Yeah.
Right. Many monies in revenue.
Many monies.
Chris Harder read it. By the way, Chris Harder, I should probably be telling him this off the air so he's not obligated to give away more, but he gave us some swag. But I think I can say that because
cool stuff,
we've worn his swag on the air.
Yeah.
My son already took the hat and is wearing it full time, and he really likes it. So
listen, cool. Shout out to your jeans in general, but like that hat is very much is his style of hat. I mean, like that it was perfect. So
yes.
The thievery is warranted.
Absolutely. Jared Gelma says that the opening 5 seconds is always the highlight of the show for him.
And it's downhill from there.
I was going to say, that's it. We start high. It's the handsome hour.
I am starting. What?
With Jay Boiler. Well, with Jay and Niche and Boiler Down from an undisclosed location. For those of you watching, you can see it's not the normal background. Show us your microphone. It's a handheld mic tonight.
It's a handheld mic, exactly.
It's not the kind of microphone that's meant for.
It's not meant for hand holding because it's got nothing. It's too small.
You have to delicately just hold it.
I gotta hold it with 2 fingers.
But it's heavy. They're big, heavy, bulky.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's good. It's good. We have an IU fan.
Do we?
That happens.
Oh, an IU fan. An IU fan asked someone else.
And Nate's a regular.
Nate's already going.
Nate's. I just read the.
Nate's already coming in with the. Let's go.
Let's go to questions. Nate's and you know what? It may not be a bad idea with.
Let's just start with questions. Nate goes right into it and says that an IU fan, and he got into it, and the question came up: would you guys rather have an Elite Eight run with no conference titles or an early exit with 1 to 2 conference championships? Well, I think we can pretty easily piece together what that would feel like, the latter part of that.
We're talking football, right?
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
We're not talking football here, but we can talk football. We've done the other one.
Oh, really? Mr. Regular Season.
Why would we? I know.
Mr. I love the... Do you hear this? No, you're not paying attention up there.
No, exactly.
He's saying that he doesn't... Niche is the only one here who cares about the regular season.
I love the regular season. I think the regular season is so meaningful. This next season basketball season is going to be such a nightmare for me because the regular season is not going to matter, It's not going to matter at all.
I'm glad Nate asked this because I was thinking today, you know how you have those rants in your head and you're like, man, I wish I had a podcast where I could do this live. Right. I was thinking about this, but I was like, no, save it because I'm sure we'll do a basketball preview. But no, Nate asked, we're not going to put this off because we'll forget because we can't remember anything. I was thinking about this. Nobody cares about Big Ten championships besides Purdue, the institution of Purdue basketball. I don't even know. Maybe fans care about that, but
have no other school?
I don't think anybody, fans or other schools, give a shit about Big Ten championships.
I don't think you're right.
No, I don't think you're right.
I don't think you're right.
Do you care about that?
Yes.
I mean,
obviously.
Purdue has
I think it's good to win a conference title. I mean, I don't know.
You mean rather than lose? Yes, I think winning's better than losing.
We've been there, though. That's kind of the problem, right? We're kind of spoiled by that.
Let me put it this way. I was thinking about this today.
But that's the thing, though, right? We're spoiled because we've won the most.
But Purdue's won the most, and nobody is impressed by that. There's no school that's like, man, I sure wish we had more Big Ten championships.
Illinois might be.
Maybe.
Well, and so here's the flip side. Here's the flip side of that is that Kansas brags about their number of conference titles, but that's because they had those 10 consecutive or 12 consecutive ones, which is insane. But they also have 2 titles. Theoretically, I think maybe one has been vacated. I don't know. But they have those 2 titles to also.
Nothing's been vacated in Kansas.
Exactly. Yeah. So
no, but okay. Here, think of it this way. Schools have a certain barometer for success, right? And I'm not talking about like Northwestern or those basketball. Theirs is if they make the tournament, it's a good year, and that's fine. That's okay. That's great. That's where they're at, right? Mm-hmm. Michigan State. I was thinking about this today, honestly. IU fans, for all their delusion, all they bring up are their national championships because that's what they care about. That's what they want more of. Okay, that's fine. Michigan State fans, I don't know if they would admit this, but I think Michigan State, if you're into Michigan State basketball, you want Final Fours. I don't think it's national titles because they don't really win that many. I think it's getting to the Final Four because they do that a lot, and I think that's what matters to them. I don't think they care if they win the Big Ten. I think at Purdue, for some reason, winning the Big Ten has been seen as this monumental accomplishment. But I don't think any other program, a successful program, would strive to be that because of the fact that nothing else has ever come with it. This is what I was thinking about today.
That's a fair point because when does it shift from being a marketing spin and not truth, and
right,
or just being culture in what the school expects and what alums and fans expect?
Like, I
really don't know the answer.
You think fans really value those? Now, and
I think old fans do.
I'm not saying, obviously, like you said earlier.
I'm telling you, I think older fans love Big Ten titles. Love them. Not like them. They love them. And I'm not.
It also used to mean more because when there was no Big Ten tournament.
By the way, if I'm saying it's older fans, some of the people that might be listening think, well, you're already ancient, graybeard, right? So, like, seriously. I mean, that's the whole thing. There's a generational change. Obviously, the tournament is so much heavier, I think, for younger fans. The tournament is it's king, absolutely. Because think about the way the media spins things. I mean, the way something becomes an amazing gorilla, if you will, in pop culture, right? A big, strong, that's the whole thing, is you got just so many dollars driving this thing, and that's all that the casual fan cares about. I don't think the casual fan gives a shit about Big Ten championships. And that might be the whole thing. Like, you may have people, the heady fan, the person who really is looking at the details or whatever, riding or, with the team through the thick and thin, they care about Big Ten titles. I mean, I have a hard time discounting them completely, but at the same time, all I want to see is a tournament run. So
it's because it's the grass is always greener, right? I mean, it is like it. We've never seen it. We've never seen it before. To me, Michigan State doesn't care because this is the other cultural part of Michigan State.
Why?
Well, there are many other cultural parts of Michigan State we could pivot.
Right.
Because perpetually, Tom Izzo uses the regular season as the preseason. He doesn't care. And so because he doesn't care about those titles, I don't think the fans do.
No, and it's just because he's actually gone to the Final Four repeatedly. That's why you begin to care about that more, because you're like, this is where we really want to be.
So here's the thing. If he did, and I know I'll play the flip side here as well. But if he didn't, Michigan State fans would be pissed, right? Because he doesn't have an absurd number of Big Ten titles, you know what I mean, to fall back on, but he has those regular season titles, right? The flip side is that Matt Painter, if he didn't have those Big Ten titles, we'd be pissed because we wouldn't have gone that far. We haven't done tournament runs, but you have the other thing, right? It is success. Now, this is in general a little bit of here's Carl's comment. Yeah. So Carl, old fan, age 65 here. I'm fed up with look at how many Big Ten titles we've won. Show me something in March and nothing else matters. Again, this is because we've stacked Big Ten titles. And I get it. I totally get it. This year, I am a regular season I love the regular season. I think that is hugely meaningful. It is this year, man. I want to see Zach Edey, dunk everybody through the hoop. But I would, just fast forward the 15-5 Big Ten record, or
that was Justin's.
That was Justin's thing.
15-5.
I'll do it right now. Yeah. Do it right now. Just take it, and
we'll take first or second the Big Ten, and we'll figure it out from there. What I
mean, if they have a strong season, do you really care? Honestly. This year, do you really care if they win the Big Ten? Right.
Absolutely not. No.
Thank you.
But most years, yes. Actually, in fact, every year, every single year, yes. But
I think
this
you just
year,
made my argument, and what you were saying is Purdue fans have done that, and so that's why maybe you're getting tired of it. But my answer to that is they haven't done the
other thing.
Once you've done, but I don't think it's other. I think it's next. I think it's an elevated. You don't think that's higher value?
So it's become higher value. Yeah.
It always was. National championships are what mattered forever. Right. It's not like I use national titles even when there were 8 teams in the tournament weren't valuable.
But that's the thing. Some of them were when there were 8 teams in the tournament. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
I agree.
It's ridiculous to me.
I agree.
And
it's harder to win a Big Ten championship
what's
now.
Anish, can you expound on what's ridiculous?
Jay and I actually talked about this weekend as we were drying off after the Ohio State game, which we will talk about eventually, I suppose. But
Am I foggy? Am I out of focus?
Yeah, you're a little out of focus, but also your camera's out of focus. So
exactly.
Nice job. We're both on the same page. That's awesome.
The thing that American sports fans do is, like, through the years, we have devalued the regular season in every sport more and more and more, and have placed more value on postseason and playoffs more and more and more. So in the NBA, like, resting during the regular season is a real problem. In the MLB now, you have regularly 100-win teams that don't make it far in the playoffs.
What's happening right now? My son's telling me a lot of the teams that got the bye, or whatever you want to call it,
they got like 4 or 5 days off, and they haven't had that all season. So it's counterproductive. They're talking about changing it because it's not fair to them now.
Right.
So,
I mean, same thing in hockey. It is like you have. I mean, we were talking about though, like you've got the goaltenders that are like, if you have a goalie that's incredible, like
hot goalie for 2 months, and you're in your business.
I mean, and dynasties were made on the backs of incredible goalies, right? And good role players, but like incredible and consistent goalies. And so before, it did seem like at least there was some value placed on it, or at least maybe in other sports also, there is value and celebration in this regular season thing that we do for most of the calendar. You know what I mean? The ridiculous part is that we dedicate the whole calendar to a thing that all of us now think is useless. And it bugs me, because the fun of watching the sport is a lot of those fun Big Ten, but like, Michigan State, Purdue regular season.
You don't have to win the Big Ten championship for the regular season to be fun and meaningful, and for your team to get better. You gave a description of Izzo using the regular season to get better all year, to then you leverage that in the postseason.
Right.
You can enjoy that ride too and say, look at them getting better. Look at them. This is all part of a process I now believe in because I've seen my coach take us there. I don't know. I don't think that's devaluing it. I think it's looking at it.
And I can. Way. How about this one? I think you guys are bringing up good points. I hate to do this, but let me give IU fans a little bit of credit, okay? And I see a lot of flaws and inconsistency in their thinking, but you can have a really fun season and not win a damn thing. I think last year was pretty fun for IU because they swept Purdue and they kind of took a step up as a program, right? They got to the point where they were like, okay, we're ranked now. We're a solid team. We're not making
mediocre programs tend to take those
right, but it's a step forward, right? And now, so as Purdue fans, our gaze has shifted a bit, right? Because now we're like, okay, Purdue right now. Enough. My dad says so they show the preseason NCAA rankings, the whole nation, and Purdue is third behind 2 perennial powerhouse blue blood teams, Kansas,
Purdue's
Duke, Purdue. And I said 10 years ago, if you'd have said Purdue is third preseason, I'd been like, holy crap. Let's celebrate. Let's dance in the streets. Right?
That would have been enough right there.
But I can tell you right now, I was like, yeah, well, Purdue beat Duke by 100 last season. Purdue returns everybody. So's Duke. Purdue needs to be higher than Duke. And Kansas, I got to tell you okay, so I think Purdue should have been judged as a better team overall.
I think they should probably be number 1.
I do too. But FDU, that loss knocks them down to 3.
Yes, if you go to the Sweet 16, that's a fun thought exercise. If they went even to the Sweet 16 and lost, they'd be number 1 right now.
Right.
I think.
Because
people would.
Because we were talking about, think about this, I don't know how quickly the 3 of us started talking about this internally, but we said they could be number 1 preseason.
Yes, we said that immediately
after the loss. Right, we all started talking
settled in, and you thought they're not losing anybody except Jenkins. The whole team is coming back. And more players.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's this regular season, unequivocally. Yeah, I mean, like it's going to be. It's going to be miserable, but it's going to be enjoyable. It's going to be an enjoyable type of miserable, but it's just going to be miserable because we're just going to be.
You're going to be looking for different things, Anish. I think you're going to be looking for, does Lawyer look like he's hit a wall? Right?
Does Purdue hit a wall in February?
Right. Does that stuff look different now?
Yep.
And if it does look different and they're 2 games back of who gives a crap? Right? Like if they're 7 games back and they're discombobulated, then you're like, wow, they somehow messed this up. But I don't think any of that's going to happen. I think if they lose 5 games this year, that that might be what they do, unless they.
I think that maybe with the 3, 4, 5 of us at BS, it'll be like that. I think if you go anywhere online, if Purdue loses 5, 6, 7 games in the regular season, it's going to be a nightmare.
Really?
It's going to be.
It's a tough schedule.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying
I can pick out 5, 6 games they could lose
easy
without a doubt. But I just think
they could win 2. They could win 2 before December.
5 losses is probably where Purdue ends up for the season. Like, is the most common place if you send the season, right?
Right.
But every loss is going to be a referendum. Every slide is going to be a referendum. Everything is going to be.
I've kind of already gone through that, Anish. You know how much I was pissed off in January and December during different losses, right? I'm not at that place now. Like, I've moved past. Like, now it's like big picture for me. Earlier, a commenter, Brian T, said something about his whole thing is focusing on winning the conference championship so you can get the seed, and that used to be my philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I have moved on from that. That's a good comment, by the way. But I've moved on from that idea simply because last year you do not get better than the number 1 seed. Purdue's door was wide open, and they threw the door open, threw the doorknob back into their groin, and dropped themselves. Right? You're like, okay, the seeding doesn't matter. Just don't be a 7 or 8 seed.
But Purdue is now, thanks to Painter, which is the funniest part about this.
Yeah.
He did, because Anish always points out he's the guy that coaches love, that media loves. They love him. So Purdue is now and we acknowledge this in the last couple of years, maybe the first time they made the number 1 ranking, we acknowledge they were getting some breaks when it came to the media. Like, they were getting more love than they used to get, right? So the whole thing of you got to finish well, because remember 15 years ago, if Purdue was in the top 10 or near it and lost a game, they'd almost drop out, right? Yeah. That now they'll lose a game on their number 1, they drop to 3, 4. It's like they're now in that echelon of teams that gets the benefit of the doubt, meaning now they might have burned some of that in March, but
right, they got to burn a lot of that equity, right?
But
I don't think so.
Not from they don't need to win the Big Ten. They don't need to win the Big Ten to have that good seed. There are teams that get number 1s that didn't win their conference. It happens.
So you mean when there were a not insignificant number of people that voted Michigan State over Purdue in the AP this week? This week, it's great.
That.
But again, that's that flip side, right? Where Izzo has proven it, and Izzo gets
I'm not worried about
the love, right? Painter's there,
right?
Yeah,
right. And I'm not worried about them not getting a good seed because they didn't. If they finish second in the Big Ten, which I still have a hard time imagining. I mean, I guess Michigan State could beat them out, or someone could surprise. But Purdue has so much talent.
Stacked.
The Big Ten is not.
Michigan State's really good. I mean,
they're really good.
And they're going to bring in, or they have some really good freshmen.
How about this question? Let's kind of come back and see how our consistent our thinking is. If Purdue finishes 3rd in the Big Ten, and they're a 4 seed, is that a letdown just on its? On its surface,
it's a little bit. I think I'd call it more of a surprise, because then you're in a position where that can all go away.
No one would care about that
in
the Purdue fan base if you get to the round of 8 or 4.
Yeah.
No one cares.
I think if you get to the round of 16, people at least are saying, okay, second weekend again. You're now realizing how valuable that is.
My thing, though, is that I don't think that sets up for a run for this team. A deep run comes from confidence. Michigan State teams do that because Michigan State teams always do that. And so it is like a program.
They do it from the 7 spot.
It is a program level confidence that it doesn't matter where we end up. We've gone deep in the tournament before, and we'll do it again.
It does matter less, Anish, wouldn't you say? Overall in college basketball now, you got 9s making it.
Which is, again, what just make the whole thing a tournament. Just make the whole thing a tournament, and let's go away from the regular season. Just build the whole plane out of the black box. Anyway, but the bigger thing to me, though, is that if my fear, actually, I would much rather, obviously, this is stupid. I would much rather, get a 1 seed and do this. But I would only rather do that because the way this team unraveled was out of a lack of confidence.
Pressure.
They got shook by the moment.
Yeah.
And Jay and I were talking about this too. Like, they keep kind of flexing their rings, like their 2 rings. Because when we were at Wisconsin, I remembered that they literally won everything except for a game in the tournament last year. You know what I mean? And so what you want is the team to go in 1 versus 16 and say, we are the biggest, baddest team, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like there's nothing you can do. You want them not nervous. You want them not scared.
Do you think that's possible? Do you think that's possible?
I think that's the way it's got to be. And if it's not gonna be like that, then
there's no way this group is going to. There's nothing they can do this season that they didn't do last season. Is that fair?
I think Zach is. I think Zach has that mentality, but
but he had that last year too.
The backcourt has to. The freshman backcourt.
It wasn't them really. I mean, they didn't play great, but like,
but the folks that did not do well, you know what I mean? Like, and I think it's funny because I think the people that care the most on this team are the ones that kind of wavered the most. I think there are very few people on this team that want a deep run for Painter more than Ethan Morton. And he looked shook in the tournament, right? I want him coming
Morton
back.
Looked shook and Gillis looked shook.
Gillis,
and to me, that bothered me more than anything was Gillis. He pump faked.
Yeah.
I literally, when he pump faked after missing the shot, I said, they're cooked. Like I've never had a single moment where I was like, this team's shot, because you've got Gillis not believing in anything that's happening in the outside. I was like, holy shit, dude, you can shoot. You can do this, and you're a leader. You're the guy, pretty much.
My thing though is that I don't think it happens if Purdue is lower than a 3 seed. I think if Purdue goes in above that 3 seed, it becomes like now you've got the confidence. Now just don't, you've been here before.
I think you should be confident because that's going to happen. They're not going to be worse than a 3. I don't think so. No, that would be. Yeah. They'd be below 12th in the country. I don't think there's any way. That would be a disappointment. Going back to the original question, that would be, if you're a 4, that means you've somehow.
How about this question, Jay?
4th in the Big Ten.
Couldn't that help build the team, the chip on the shoulder that they think, like you're like F everybody?
I think more. Well, more
if you say you have, let's pretend for a second you have 5 or 6 losses. You have 5 or 6 losses and you're a 4 seed.
Then yes, you should say, that's a bullshit against the schedule we played.
Right.
Then you should be angry and you should be set. Sure, whatever it takes to make them mad.
That's what we want. Whatever it is.
Getting into FU mode. Yeah. Okay, I'll say, since this is officially turned into the basketball preview.
I know I need to rename the.
Well,
we're going to talk about football.
Yeah, eventually. Absolutely. I'll just say what I've said to you guys privately, and I don't think I've said this, but I'm ready to. The thing that gives me agita about this upcoming season isn't that I think the regular season will be enjoyable. It always is. Hang another banner in November. It's gonna be great. They're gonna win Maui. Mm-hmm. We will then put together. We're gonna have Boiler Dowd design a sticker that has black and gold 5 banners, similar to IU's. One will be that thing in Connecticut. One will be Maui. One will be the one in Portland, Oregon. One will be the we'll do all those. And then the last one will be Big Ten tournament champs. And there'll be 2 rings on it.
Yeah.
See, I could come up with more to bash my
More to bash your own team than any of these.
I want to lean into it. If they win Maui, I want us to lean into it, because then if they do go to the Final Four, you'll be able to. That'll still be funny.
Right. It'll be like it'll be great. If you don't laugh, then oof.
Yeah, you gotta laugh. What I was gonna say is, here's what gives me agita about this season and this team is. And you guys have to steer me out of this skid. And Pinola says so far this handsome hour has had the correct amount of football talk. Yes, that is a good take. We've seen the formula. Matt Painter teams that are good enough to go to the Final Four. We've not seen too many of them. Carson Edwards was the difference. You need that guy with that swagger, with that not caring if he's missed. He's never going to triple pump. He's never going to pass up a shot because he knows he's going to shoot his way out of it. Who on this team is going to do that when everyone's getting tight? And I don't have an answer for that. And I know you're saying guys can grow up. And the freshmen, and he said to me, the freshman backcourt was freshmen last year.
Right.
And I was like, that's fair.
And by the way, it's a super fair point.
Personality.
Well, it's a fair point, and it's really a historically fair point too, because very, 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 very few freshman backcourts can get out of the first weekend. Yeah. It's a really tall order, especially when you're looking at guys that, if you really know that team, you're like, okay, physically these guys are beaten to hell. This isn't just freshmen; these are guys that are beaten up. They were trying to do everything they could. I really don't disparage those 2 at all. And I know there are a lot of people that it's funny. The the knucklehead board is very funny because you have people the rumor mill, which has no legs. It's all fake. Everything they say, okay, well, lawyer's going to transfer. Why do you think lawyer's going to transfer? Because I think there's a rumor from somebody that lawyer's going to transfer. And why wouldn't he? Well, I'll tell you why he wouldn't. He was a freshman, guys. He had a very good freshman campaign.
Yeah,
Smith, very good freshman campaign.
People are talking about them transferring.
People are stupid. Purdue fans.
Why would it? There's been no rumor of that.
No, there isn't. But people make things up. Carson Edwards transferring was a thing on Knucklehead too.
Oh yeah,
every year.
Yeah. He's gonna leave. Right? He's gonna leave.
Yep. Here he comes. Okay, you don't know anything. Nobody knows anything.
All right. So who's the guy? Nobody's answering me. Or you think it's Smith. A valid concern?
Smith.
But he's not a shooter.
No, you're wrong there. By the way, listen to Painter talk about Smith. Okay. Smith always says, Painter always says Smith doesn't shoot enough.
Do you think Painter knows more about basketball acumen than me? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, of course not.
I'm not saying that.
I would ever say that. I would never go that far. No. Smith doesn't have the confidence to pull up. Hopefully, develop that. Frail Hammer says that. I don't think it's about confidence. Frail Hammers. If you know anything about Smith, if you know anything about it when him in high school, if you know what he was on the AAU circuit, confidence was not a problem for him. It is not a confidence. He's not a problem for him. Confidence is not Smith's issue. Smith was trying to be a good soldier. I really believe this. I think he was trying to do exactly what he thought his coach wanted. And sadly, his coach said, shoot more. I heard it over and over and over. It's not about confidence with Smith. No, I don't think that's it.
Yeah. So, I mean, actually, you look at his numbers. He was 9.7. We're going to round that to 10. He had averaged 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. That's a pretty good freshman. Good. 43% from the floor. 44% shooters. Pretty good. I'll give you that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good into that sort of thing. I am.
But yeah. Okay. I hope you're right.
You got to see it. A good thing we only have like 5 miserable months to go between now and then. It's fine.
Well, so here's one thing I've said to you guys over and over, and I'll say it again. I'll counter my own lust for a Final Four. Ooh. That the beauty for me of college basketball, specifically Purdue being solid, good, whatever you want to call it in February, is that I hate winter in Indiana so much. The older I get, the more I hate it. I hate it. Yes. So basketball is the salve on that wound. Correct. I'm not moving anytime soon. I'm going to be in Indiana. I love Indiana. Parts of it. I hate January and February in Indiana. And the only thing good about those months in Indiana is when Purdue is really humming along. Really. I look forward to those games. They are great. They are fun for me to watch. Like I look forward to those, even a 9:00 tip-off, which I hate. I hate 9:00 tip-off.
They're so bad.
But I don't want to lose the fact that is still kind of a thing
Matt Painter has taken Purdue to the top of the sport. I mean, meaning Purdue is the one of
except for one
almost thing. Purdue is Purdue is one of the most important basketball programs in the country.
Prominent. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, important to the sport, important for the people, for the direction of it. Exactly.
Just think about what it does. Not even a title. What a Final Four does. You're already viewed about there. And someone earlier in the comments made a point about long-term respect. And I think you might have put it up on the screen.
Yeah. I don't know if we read it. It's a great point.
He said at this point, I'm not looking for that just, he said, Brian T says, to me, it's more about getting lasting respect for the program, and a Final Four seems to be the way to do that. And he says, as an example, Kitty was the greatest, quote, not to go to a Final Four. And boys, Painter's now.
Oh, he's there.
Taking that mantle on. And you're going to have back-to-back 20-year-plus coaches who are known for being superb, except for that lack of a Final Four.
And the only thing that stops the talk of the best of the non, right?
Yep.
Or the scruffing a kid's hair and saying, you're great in your own special way.
You are, yeah.
The only thing that stops it is a Final Four.
Got to get there.
And that's the thing. All three of us are relatively level-headed. I think all of us, Final Four is checks all my boxes. Get me to the point where a Final Four feels somewhat old. Make me feel like, man, damn it, if we could only do better than a Final Four.
Through. Yeah, exactly.
If we could just break through past the Final Four.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm 48. I don't remember the last Final Four. I keep stressing that point.
Well, you got 2 years before 50. It'll be good.
Yeah, sure. No problem. That's what our buddy Carl was talking about. He just wants to see a Final Four before he dies. Word, Carl. Or, Natty before he dies. It's because he remembers the Final Fours. He probably remembers 2 of them, right? Because didn't Mountain have a Final Four?
Mm-hmm.
And Lou Alcindor team had Final Four. So, again, that's folklore to me.
Lou Alcindor played for Purdue?
Not Lou Alcindor. What the hell am I saying?
I don't remember that at all.
I wasn't gonna stop you there. But we lost to UCLA.
Yeah, right.
You were close. You were close.
I almost had my rant correct.
Did you mean John Wooden? He might have gone to a final.
No,
he actually has the Holmes title that Michael loved. God,
Joe Barry Carroll, another 7-footer. So no, well, yeah, he did. 1980, right?
He was the last one.
Oh, was he on that team?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, I was 5.
So you get out of jail,
Michael. You guys who are listening, you don't know. Michael does not ever stop talking about that Helms title. He loves it. That 1932.
He loves to hate it. He loves to hate it.
No. He loves it.
He loves it. Oh, sorry.
I want to see if Michael listens to our podcast.
No way.
I don't think he does.
No, he hears us enough on the regular chat. Right. Here's a quick question from Alex a while ago. Who ends with more losses, football or basketball?
That's a really good
I'm
question.
thinking hard right now.
That's a really good question.
Yeah, that's good job, Alex.
I think football does.
I think maybe football.
Yeah.
Because football is 4-8.
They already have 5, man.
4-8, 5-7. Like at the best.
They're 2-5.
Yeah, our best case scenario is 6. And we were just saying, what if Purdue loses 5 and then doesn't get a high enough seed, whatever. I mean,
football's going to lose more.
Purdue basketball's going to lose 5 to 6 games.
And football's going to lose at least 6.
At least 6.
Probably 6 before the end of the month.
Exactly, 7 or 8.
Yeah, that's a good question though. But oh man, it's now football is doing it to me. Now, should we transition up? It's 32 minutes. By the way, I don't know if you guys.
Anish, in editing, will you just reverse this? Make football first.
Oh yeah, sure.
In editing, there's no editing.
But instead, I'll make it play backwards.
He'll just
I hit the wrong.
It'll be like Michael is dead when you play it backwards. That's a reference. It's a reference to the Beatles.
I do have to say, in diving into that as a teenager, I think I have like the level of anxiety in my head every time I hear backwards speech. Because of the amount that I listened to the backwards Beatles stuff and dove into that conspiracy theory is just like, oh, I hate it. Oh. Yeah.
Anish, they did that on purpose, right?
Oh yeah. Man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then they leaked it. They leaked like, hey man, what if you just played this backwards? And all of a sudden a theory was born.
What I was going to say is, I don't know if you guys who are watching live can tell, or if you're watching this on YouTube, this is literally maybe the most comfortable sweatshirt I have. This is a Home Field Apparel Purdue crew neck. I love it. The old look. Oh, it's such a great shirt. Anish, I believe, is also wearing.
This is from a different vendor.
Oh, never mind.
From a different vendor.
However, you'll edit that out in post.
Which we like. We like this vendor too.
We like all vendors.
Pay us,
but Home Field pays us. Correct. And I also want to say to our other sponsor, AJ's, never let us down. They never let us down in any way. They're such good guys, good food. I went twice this weekend with Ronnie Jr. Went there Friday and Saturday. Got some heat from Adam for not letting him know I was coming on a busy Saturday night when he's trying to.
Every time I let him know I'm coming, he's busy.
Right.
Doing executive restaurateur things.
Yeah. Which means he's in the back drinking beer.
That's right.
He's not doing any work.
Hey man, AJ's. I heard that AJ's is on the short list for a Michelin star. You know what I mean? It's
that good. It's
go there before it gets out of hand.
And you're waiting in line to get in.
Yeah, it's just
I was there way back. Anish was actually there way at the beginning.
Yeah, he's
it's crazy. It's crazy to see how much. Genuinely, it's crazy to see how much AJ's grown.
Oh, Frail Hammers. That should be their line. Never lets us down, always fills us up. AJ's. Man, hire this guy.
Yeah. Copyright, trademark, trademark.
Exactly. Copyright that, dude. And then sell it for $1 million to.
I think just saying copyright and trademark frequently actually does it. Yes.
Oh, man.
Let me ask you guys. Okay, real quickly.
Yeah.
If Purdue needs, yeah, go ahead. If there are two things Purdue needs to do to improve to the point to get to the Final Four, two things.
We're still talking about this?
Yeah,
The,
this is it.
the
This is the
football,
last
again,
one.
the football team or the basketball
Yeah,
team?
we're still talking.
Sorry.
Wait,
Okay,
oh,
this is basketball.
Be specific.
If there are two things they need to do, just two, I'm not giving you three because it's always nice, but two things they need to improve to get to the Final Four. What are those two things? Because I've got some
first round of
ideas
the tournament.
That's,
Beating double-digit seeds.
Step
that's
one.
a good one. That's
Beating
Step
double-digit seeds
one.
is what I'll say. What do they
so
need
you're
to
thinking
do
this is
better?
like, yeah, two things they need to do better.
They didn't. They did everything well last year.
No,
they did everything
no,
well.
they didn't. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. I've got answers for this one.
Well, you do. You're weirdly analytical when it comes to basketball.
I know it doesn't make any damn sense.
It's for shooting consistency is number one.
That's one, Anish. I got one
so
more.
like
you guys are both. Yeah, I mean, obviously,
don't
Anish,
shoot 19% from three in the tournament.
Right,
Well,
but it wasn't just then because they started falling apart in January shooting, and we talked about it. The three of us talked about it. Right, we said, I don't think it's conditioning. I don't think. I think that was more of an issue of the youth of the team getting beaten up over and over started showing up statistically. That's my theory. Okay.
So don't be young.
Don't be young. So they got that partially. That's check. What's the other one? There's two things. And Jay,
don't pee down your leg. I don't know.
Okay, that's getting to the.
But it's confidence to me. But yeah.
Okay, that's also getting there. Learn how to break the press consistently.
Oh well, yes, they did it better last year.
They were better last year than they have been in
the previous 10.
Right. But that really bit them hard, right? That was something that, especially down the stretch, the Penn State game, let's think about that specifically. If you talk about something that shook their confidence before they ever got in the tournament, it was the way they handled the press versus Penn State. That game, I thought a lot.
They almost lost. Yeah.
Yes. So they won the Big Ten tournament.
Someone made a point in the comments. They said they won the Big Ten tournament and they didn't play well in the Big Ten tournament. And they really didn't.
No,
they did not play.
That's how good they were. And that's the funny thing about Michigan State getting the #1 nod by some media types, and many media types, right? You're like, not only Purdue did win the conference, they won it going away.
Right.
And they showed how good they were in the Big Ten tournament because they're just like, yeah, we're going to waltz through this thing. We don't have to do anything well, and we're still going to win it.
Oh boy.
Okay. So those are the two things that I think
it's going to be a long 4 months.
I'm feeling shell shocked again, like it's all coming back to me the last few years. And
right.
It's all coming back to me now, just like Celine sang about.
That's what I was just gonna say. Wow, like your favorite ballad.
Well, you're on vacation. You're on vacation with your brother, who I know is a big Celine.
Oh yeah, he's the biggest Celine fan. I hope he's listening.
I think.
While I was doing post game the other day, I was in the same place doing it. My family's out on the beach. My dad was holding his phone up sideways, listening live because my dad.
That's how dads are, man. That's great. That's
like a shell. He's holding your.
That's right. He could yeah. If you listen closely, you can hear.
Imagine every time you picked up a shell, you heard Boiler Dad's voice.
Oh, no one would ever go to the beach.
If you were Poseidon, like if Poseidon turned out to be you.
Yeah. Let's talk football, guys. Let's talk football.
Oh, football.
You guys had a lot better perspective. I'm gonna show everything that I had. I was driving for the first 5-10 minutes of the game, so I got to the place where I was gonna watch it. A place that was nice enough to have the Peacock in their hands and showing it on the television. Yeah. And so
easy then.
Peacock in their hands?
Yeah, they have the Peacock in their hands.
Relax.
Relax. Just settle with that. All right. And so I'm watching the game and it's all good vibes. Not really. Not really. That quickly into the game. It was already not good vibes, Jay. Anish, how did it feel in the stadium?
Not good. Not good. And the best part was right when all hope felt lost, which was approaching halftime, that's when the cold rain began. It was like it was a complete Midwestern little.
The first half, it was
kind of
exactly. Take that.
It was cool. It was cold.
It was fine though. Nice, it was dry.
The first half was fine, and then I keep telling J Money
off the field, and then it starts spitting.
J Money Jr. keeps coming to Purdue's campus on these like gorgeous, cloudless, sunny days at Purdue, and he finally got a taste of what this place really is. Yeah. He finally got it. It was that mist
in every way. The
that
weather,
somehow puddles.
Everything was bad.
It just the mist is there. It's not quite raindrops, but there are puddles on the ground.
You're wet. And your seat is wet.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
The wind is blowing in your face, and you turn the other way, and the wind is still blowing in your face.
That's unique Midwestern thing where the wind is in your face no matter what.
No matter which direction, exactly.
It's great.
It was one of those. It's a character building moment. And then we got back after this sickening, like, just beatdown that we warned him would happen. And he's like, so we're going to IU, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's like, you sicko.
Anish was like, oh, you're a sicko.
You're so gross. You're so gross.
The poison.
Yeah. He doesn't. Yeah. I don't know what I've done. I think.
Yeah.
Huge mistakes.
Certainly
the problem with that shows that there's kind of no saving him, right?
No, it's done.
I think there's still hope. He's only an 8th grader. What if I take him
that statement right there? I got to tell you.
Know.
No.
Oh boy.
I know, man. But what if I take him to next year or the next 4 years? I take him to Texas football at Austin every year.
But Purdue will still be his
Just
second
to see
team.
what it feels like. This is
he might go, I could go to school here.
Right. You should move. Yes, correct. And then you should move with him.
Oh, absolutely. We have already we're nudging him to things we want, like, oh, go to school in Southwest Florida. I like it there. Go to school in Texas. If you don't go to Purdue or Rutgers or something, right? Like, then we're like, okay, if you don't go to one of those, Carolinas, a lot of places we might want to be one day. So
something that many of people don't know is the BS contingent. There's some pretty successful guys in this group of 5, but Jay's opportunities. He could work a lot of different places, and he has one on the table. He could work in the Carolinas now if he wanted to.
I could.
But you could shape this messaging really easily just by taking that offer.
We can workshop it. We can workshop it.
Right. There you go. There we got all sorts of shaping, workshopping already happening. I love the corporate talk, corporate speak happening.
Well,
synergies.
So it was
many synergies in this.
It was a bad day, and nothing went right. And then, like, I felt terrible because it was like the Hammer Down Cancer Day. So Tyler Trent's family was on the field, and they had to lead shout when it was 34-0 or whatever.
It was mostly Ohio State fans in the stands.
Like, I felt so bad because that's like, and then student sections. When I say empty, I mean after halftime, empty. And people come down on the students, and I'm like, they're standing, and it's raining, and it's awful.
I gotta tell you, I watched on the telecast. All I could say was hats off. The Rosshead Brigade seems strong. I mean, I know they started thinning out, but why wouldn't you start thinning?
Exactly. It was thinning in the third.
Right.
Halftime,
they did a good job.
They
held strong.
End zone cleared out, but the stands were still there. And then third quarter, it was like,
I don't blame you.
Done here.
I was ready to go. I was mapping how far away the Airbnb was to walk home.
Right.
I do this more and more now.
Listen, and I've kind of gotten into it with a couple people on Twitter because they say they're not diehard enough. I would never do that. Okay, fine, that's great. You're the standard bearer, I guess. But listen, I'm a guy who didn't leave. I left one game as a student, and Purdue sucked at football. Yeah. Okay, I left one, but I came back, Anish. I came back, and I can tell you that story. It's a good story. It's before Jay was on campus, but it's my college roommate. He doesn't listen to this at all, but he had the same philosophy. You don't leave games, right? And listen, if they're not that way, I don't blame them. There has to be, it's okay to be a little bit logical, especially when your favorite team, and even some of these people in the stands get this. They may know some players on the field, and it hurts them to see them getting their ass kicked. I'm not trying to be funny at all. You can say, yeah, I'm a big fan, but you're like, you know what? I don't like watching my pal getting his ass whipped. So maybe there's some logic there. And then they're saying, I don't want to get the pneumonia. I just want to go home and watch some college football because there's a lot of good games coming on too. Granted, these 3 idiots right here on your screen generally stay around for games. Obviously, we've proven our mettle over the past decades.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
It's so but you can't be mad at people for saying,
So from that though, Purdue, first of all, like Purdue never stood a chance. So
Can you put Greg's comment up real quick?
I want to preface this, Greg. We only spent 45 minutes currently talking about Purdue basketball. It's fine. It's fine. In October, it's fine.
Yeah. Hey, the AP poll was released today. Come on now.
So I don't want to say that Purdue stood a chance. Purdue never did. But when you miss 3 field goals, when you have the ball at the 1 yard line and you don't convert, it's tough. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's points on the board. I mean, you're leaving that you're playing with your backup kicker. You're playing with I think at this point, your third string entire right side of the line, the second and third string entire right side of the line.
Because they're moving guys around. They're doing everything they can to try
Musa went out for the end of the game. I don't think that's going to linger for the next game. It didn't look too serious, but that was rough. just Marvin Harrison Jr. in general. Like
he was beating him himself in the first quarter, right?
Man, I mean, we on the Quickcast, which you should, you should subscribe to our YouTube feed, hit the little bell button so that you get all the little things. When Boiler Doug goes live after these games, one of the things that you mentioned was, and we'll get to this, we'll do the full dive into this right now. But for Graham Harrell, he's trusting the scheme and he's trusting one-on-one players to beat, right? He's not kind of putting these players that might be outmatched in favorable situations. I would actually argue that's also true on the defense, right?
Yes, I agree.
Walters, and it's a defensive scheme that works. We know it works, but you've got to have the horses. And Purdue's secondary, particularly in the secondary, Purdue has it in the pass rush. The front 8 in Purdue's scheme is really good, and Dylan Thieneman is really good. But the defense really just depends on those corners winning one-on-one.
Right.
And even with Marvin Harrison, they played one-on-one. And it's tough, man. When it's Marquise
it doesn't
Brown,
make any sense.
It's tough. When it was Alessandro on him for a little bit, it was tough. Yeah. I mean, I don't know who got juked out of their soul. It was hard to see in the stands. I thought it was Marquise Brown, but either way, that's rough, man.
Yeah, it's hard. That's a horrible assignment.
And then whoever number 17 is, which I probably should have done some homework on this, but it looks like they have another NFL caliber, incredible wide receiver that seems to be a freshman.
Crazy,
that is awesome.
Crazy.
I mean, it's weird how that works under Ryan Day, who they should definitely fire.
Yeah. Thanks, dumb Ohio State fans, for even thinking about that.
It's
right?
Great. No. I think they should.
He will. So my brothers and I were talking about. I think the three of us have talked about this multiple times.
Carnell Tate is his name. Good Lord, he's so good.
Ryan Day will never lose to Purdue.
Nope.
Yeah, we've already talked about this.
But it's like he's not. He's saying I'm not losing to a team like that. I'm not losing to a try-hard team like that. He won't do it. And in fact, I would put
Huh? What's the matter? You about to talk about a game that's coming up?
I was going to do a stupid cross basketball comparison with the Final Four and Ryan Day. It was muddled. So.
Oh, okay.
No,
it was long probabilities was the whole thing. I'm just not. You guys can let it dance in your head if you want.
I don't think that. Again, we J Money also had a delightful spot on a rural Ohio radio station somewhere in Lima or something like that.
How did that go?
It was a great hit. He did great. He did awesome.
He's good in the big.
That's not my area.
But one of the things we were talking about was before that, just to kind of go, and I think he made mention of this just briefly. And I think we talked about this last week. Ryan Day is the only person to take the flaming husk of an Urban Meyer, after Urban Meyer bounces, the flaming husk of a program, and continue it without anything, without any hiccup, without any step back. He's the only one that's done that. Bowling Green, Utah, Florida, and now, I suppose Jacksonville. Doug Peterson's doing all right, but in college, he's the only
51-6.
But there was a little hiccup in Jacksonville, though.
His hiccup was in Jacksonville, but Doug Peterson afterwards, he's fine.
Oh, did they right away? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's
that's different. That's different.
Yeah,
the pros are different in every way.
Very different. Very different.
And when you have Trevor Lawrence, it seems to be a little bit different.
Yeah, that helps.
Oh, one thing in person, I don't know if it came through. Kyle McCord is not good. How do you have? We were talking to the fans around the Ohio State fans around us. We were talking to them, and they're like. But they were
they've had plug and play quarterbacks. That's the difference, right? But when you have every year, you just say, okay, new guy steps up and he's going to be a Heisman candidate.
How do you have those coffers and not get a better quarterback than Kyle McCord? That is costing them a title chance this year because that is not a title team. In fact,
that's what's amazing. As bad as they pounded Purdue, Anish and I were like, they're not that good.
No, Purdue. I agree. Purdue probably should have been. 20 to 10, 20 to 13 at the half.
Yeah.
That is not good. For an Ohio State team, you know what I mean? And against a Purdue team that doesn't have one of those explosive talents, right?
So this is one thing I thought, and maybe you guys
and
saw
Ohio State was also benching a couple of their players.
So Jay, in your interview in the Lima, Ohio market, right?
Yes.
Lima, wasn't it?
Superstar, Lima, Ohio superstar.
Yeah. So that one thing that they said on the national telecast and national outlets were talking about how many injuries had just taken it to this Ohio State Buckeyes team. These plucky upstart Buckeyes, again, Ohio versus everyone. And I was like, yeah. And they get this 5-star gets hurt and this 5-star comes in. And Purdue's like, okay, the bandaged roster that they had, guys get hurt. And now you're like, this guy, we don't know if he should be playing yet. And he's on the field as a starter. It was all over the field in Purdue, right? You're like,
yes,
wow, this is that's the biggest takeaway I had was our twos versus your twos are holy moly. That's it, right? Our ones versus your 1/2s. Okay, we can have a game. Our twos versus your twos. Oh, this is ugly.
Right.
I mean, and in terms of the defense, it's going to improve because Purdue has four-star defensive backs again, like committed and signed.
Yeah, if they can get them signed, let's wait till they're signed.
Let's get them signed and let's see. But that's going to be the crux of this because you have at least for the next 3 years after this, you have Dylan Thiedemann kind of anchoring the back of this. I think you have Jenkins for one more year or Scourton for one more. I think Scourton.
You could have Jenkins for one more year. This is where I start.
Exactly. Who knows?
You should have. I hope we have Jenkins for one more year, right?
Yeah.
Scourton, he's sophomore.
Gone. Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh my
gosh. He's young.
So
he's
those
young.
two.
He looks like a man.
Yeah.
He is. He's
why did
young,
I think?
Dude.
I guess
know. He's young. He's young.
Oh, so you have those positions there. It is the defense.
But tell me if I'm wrong. I don't understand NCAA rules. If you're about to graduate, can't you just write a note in crayon to the NCAA and say, I want another year to play. Thank you very much. And then they just say, yeah, okay.
It depends. North Carolina got their guy.
They didn't get it, right?
Well, no. And then Mac Brown bullied him into it. And they were like,
okay, it's fine.
And then he scored. Then he caught 3 touchdowns this weekend. Right. And so it seems like
there's some really uncomfortable hugs.
Yeah.
Long.
And the neck grabs on the way back.
That was very weird.
So it's like this team is decimated, but again, for a astonishing amount of if you're actually watching it, missed field goal, ball at the 1, like the team was in throwing distance of like 20 to 10, 20 to 13 at halftime.
You'd feel so much different.
And then then Ohio State kind of, takes you to the woodshed in the second half, which is what it is, right?
What they do all year.
But it's not a lost cause, but this team is just not good enough to sustain the amount of injuries that it's there. And that was the thing, we said the 2 things that this team can't take is injury to Hudson Card, or injuries to the offensive line. And this offensive line.
So they got out with half of that.
Yeah.
I was actually happy with how Card's day went because I don't feel like he took a lot of punishment.
Right?
No.
That's really good.
That's another thing.
That's kind of what Anisha's whole thing. Don't play him. Don't play him.
Well, don't play him in Michigan. Like against Michigan, no thank you. Just bench him. Play Bennett Meredith. Bennett Meredith.
We're going to butcher his name in every possible way.
Play him. Just run read option the whole time.
Put some respect on it. It's Meredith Bennett Meredith. Meredith Bennett.
Baxter Bennett.
Exactly.
Play him. Play the read option the whole time.
Were you impressed by him in his?
I had to watch highlights of that because we were not in the stands at the time.
The funny thing happened in the restaurant I'm watching in. So they had the cock in their hands. They were. I got worse with that one. And they lost their feed. It got the buffering thing, and then it sent it back to 14-0 in the second quarter. I was like, I guess they have a fighting chance now. And then we were done. We were all like, okay, that's it. We'd all drank our drink and eaten our food, and we were done.
It was, yeah. I mean, and again, it's not this. I think. Okay, let's get into this right now.
Sure.
Because Ed, from a while ago, who should get fired, if any, from the team.
May I
Here
go
we
first
have.
here?
You go first, Jay.
Let's go. You got Firegram. OC sucks.
That's what
Excellent.
Patrick Kennedy says. Patrick Kennedy. Well, thank you to your family for all their
for their sacrifices.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
So no one should be fired. You can say what you want. You can be mad at Harrell. You can not like and you'd be within your rights to say, what the hell are you doing sometimes here? And I think the criticism that I think, as you said in your post game, is that his job is to find either mismatches or misdirection. Yep. And you said, look, you can't just say, well, I'm going to run my offense or this offense, this air raid, and it doesn't matter who's on the other side. You can't do it that way. But I don't even know how far I want to get into the specifics of what we should be complaining about. All I would say is, if you're of the opinion, and I hope most people are, that, hey, it's the first half of a season, Ryan Walters deserves a little more time. If you believe that, then you should believe that the whole coaching staff there's a lot of change on this team. And you were all excited, I think, many of you, the royal you, were excited about a young coaching staff. What comes with that is guys learning on the job and bumps and I think there have been moments where we've seen learning. We feel like we've seen Walters get a little better at certain things and a little bit. He's even acknowledged, here's what I didn't have them prepared for. Here's what we need to be better about. And we've liked that transparency. So my answer
I love it.
I think talking about firing guys 7 games into what you should have known was going to be a challenging season is a little premature. I'm not saying you don't make a change after the season. I think you evaluate it if you're Ryan Walters and you decide then. But I think talking about firing guys, you're literally just past the halfway point with your easier part of your schedule coming, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's right. Let's see how they do over the next, I don't want to say full 5 games.
Let's look at the season in the aggregate.
See how they finish. Exactly.
If it's a 4 or 5 win season, I think we all agreed, even at the outset, that's survivable. That's fine. 4 or 5 wins, you're okay with that.
I think one of the best questions I've seen, I think this is a good question. I think it was over on either Knucklehead or Twitter. It was a very smart question. The root of it. No, yeah, you can be the judge of it. You guys tell me. How many wins or losses? Let's just give a record. How many? What can the record be? And some of the passion for a positive coaching transition still stays, right? Can you go 4-8 and people are still saying, yeah, I'm looking forward to next season. I'm renewing my tickets, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. 4? Okay. Absolutely.
How about 3-9?
3 without the bucket, and we're starting to get.
Okay, there you go. 3 with the bucket.
3 with the bucket. I think you can. I think
so no more wins get from now till the end.
Yes,
but you'd get grumpy. Okay. Like people would get grumpy.
Oh, people
are
grumpy already. That's the thing. People are grumpy already. If you, and I know, I think Anish and Jay, I think both of you think social media is stupid, but people are already pretty grumpy.
I would like to extend down to Louisville, Kentucky, a heartfelt thank you for Jeff Brom delivering in my hometown here the classic, more so
that was a classic Jeff Brom.
That's the classic Jeff Brom, which is after an incredible, perfect, amazing win.
Right,
Jeffy.
You go into Pitt and you lose to their backup.
But why did they lose, Anish?
That's discipline. I don't know.
No.
I couldn't watch it.
It was raining in Pittsburgh.
Oh, it was raining. That's
it was, Jay.
We were trying to get the feed, and it turned out to be the only thing that it was on was Pittsburgh local, the CW.
The CW.
Yes. Makes a lot of sense.
We were even trying to watch
the CW app, and it wasn't there.
It was Live. It was like they were showing Live Golf.
The only live sports were Live Golf.
Awesome.
What are we doing?
This transitional weird period we're in as fans.
That's what the Pac-12 tried to partner
Pac-12,
up
you
with.
need
That
a
explains
hamster.
lot.
You need a hamster wheel, a Ouija board to watch the Pac-12. Who knows? So that I thank Coach Brom for doing his thing, so that at least we're relieved for 1 week of like, what if he was still? What if?
Did you see what Snack had last year? There's a good Pat Kennedy again brings up Snack. Snack time had 2 interceptions and 2 lost fumbles.
He looks like Jack the Snack that lost his job to AOC. He's looked like
a guy I like. By the way, as a person, I like the Snack.
I love the Snack. He lost his job to AOC for a reason.
But he's also showing you at Louisville right now that if you put the right stuff around him, he can win you games.
He's got a better
what
team.
We thought he could be.
He's got a really good team around him.
And he's got a really soft schedule. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No Florida State, no Clemson, no North Carolina.
If Jeff Brom could have a rhythm where he only has to get up every 2 or 3 games, that's like Jeff Brom's wheelhouse, baby. And that's what ACC football is.
So I'm just glad that they lost so that we didn't have to deal with that and the fire the OC after 5 weeks or whatever, after 8 weeks kind of, things. It's just a lot. Yeah, I don't understand how you get there already. And I also don't understand, okay, we'll fire him halfway through the first year. Then what?
And who do you hire? Who's going to come there?
Then what, genius?
All you need to do is look down to
Ryan Brom
for accidental
that'd be no problem.
OC hires or bad OC hires. I will show you the way on that one. Yeah. Don't be hasty. Don't do stuff because we got to get someone in here, and then a few games in say, no.
We were talking about it's funny how it does seem like to most rational Purdue fans' credit, it does seem like Walters is getting the benefit of the doubt, probably just because of
he is
because of his affect, because of the way that he's running the program, the transparency around it, the general excitement and youth and energy that he's injected into it. But then also, it seems like he's got these, again, ink the class before we say this, but it seems like he's got these recruiting wins that are really piling up, right? Talent is coming in. He hasn't lost that step from Illinois to Purdue. He can draw a lot more talent here than Illinois was able to draw there to build kind of a team, around him. So the standard for Purdue football, I think, in this transitional year, 4 wins, 5 wins, and I think people still go into next year with a lot of enthusiasm, right?
Oh, yeah.
This was my bet. I think 4 or 5 was where we would, that's my preseason
because
bet.
To do that now, you're going to end strong.
Exactly.
Right.
And you're going to be okay.
Here's the weird thing thing about Purdue, though, is that we do have some standards, and the only standards we have is on offense, and is the exciting, creative offense that's been there.
It does seem that's pretty universal.
It obviously started with Tiller, and the Brom thing has really just.
I don't think that starts with Tiller. I think that starts in the 60s.
In 60s, sure.
Because it carries over through the 70s, 80s, early 80s when Purdue had light the world on fire offense, and they slung the ball over, right? That's the trail to Purdue success, I think, in most
and that
minds.
I think is why people are harder on Walters, or I mean on Harrell than they are Walters, right?
Because we don't see anything that looks like it's at all the roots of excitement. That's the hard thing, right? I mean, this is I said this. I was really frank and open last week because I was like, okay, these are my thoughts. I hope I'm wrong again. And I don't think he should be fired, but I will say this coaching style ain't going to work.
The offense works so well when it is between the 20s and when it's moving quickly. I mean, it's the college version of the hurry up, right? Where you are playing with pace. You are not
excited about.
We
were excited about
just moving, and they do, and then they get to the 20, and then they just stop, and the creativity
goes away.
They think, and it's not even like. It's not necessarily creative, but the Ohio State game, to be fair, there was a lot of delay being used. There was a lot of motion being used, but it wasn't outside of the realm of kind of what you need to compete. Like if you're Purdue to compete with Ohio State, right? But it was good. You saw that. And then they hit the red zone and it disappeared. And that's
how many times can you guys tell me maybe
having the one and kicking and getting the ball to the one kicking a 30-40 yard field goal, that's rough.
Didn't they get down to the 1, 2 or 3 different drives and not come with anything?
One was a normal missed field goal, and the other one was that then they got pushed back.
They got pushed back and they missed again.
Yeah. A backup kicker again. Yeah. Speaking of,
and Macias, I got nothing. Macias doing his best again. This is like guys are trying to do what they can. Freehill will be healthy.
I think
for Nebraska. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. But I don't forget that Freehill wasn't nailed. I mean, that's maybe he was starting. He already had injury problems, and that's when he started missing. I don't know. He was banging the ball though first couple games, and then all of a sudden he wasn't. I really don't know.
There was a student that there were 2 students that won both of the kicking challenges that happened, in mid-quarter. So we should probably just sign them. They would be great.
Right?
It was impressive stuff.
It was
a
great.
kid in a banana costume.
No, but one of them hit a 20 or no, a 30
Dang.
or no, a 20, 30, and 40. And the 40 hit the crossbar and then went in. It was perfect drama.
And that's the one that got him a car lease for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The first guy won $1,000 for a 25-yarder, and he kicked it where it would have been good from 40 plus. He bombed it right down the middle, he was a high school kicker or something.
Right.
That's the one we want.
Had to have been.
The one in the blue jersey. I want.
It was crazy. Yeah.
But
they did that last year one time. They had a kid that clearly was a high school kicker, and he hit one from way far away. And then the next game, they were like, okay, we're not giving any more things. And they had people come on the field that they were like, couldn't get their steps right. And they were kicking it barely off the ground 3 feet, and it's hooking so far to the left. And you're like, okay.
I've told you about the story off the pod, but on the pod, I was one of those people at a Michigan State Purdue game that had to do a layup, a free throw, and a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
I got chosen.
Yeah.
And it was great. But I should have worn shorts or something like that. I was in jeans. I'm not making excuses.
Well, he's a decent basketball player. I'll defend you on that.
Boom, layup, easy. Rebound, go to the free throw. Cash. Boom.
Okay.
Splat. Okay, take the rebound. 3-pointer. In and out. Take the 3-pointer. Hits the side of the backboard, not even close. And now I'm like, oh no.
Oh no. And everyone's watching.
I grabbed the rebound. I hit it. It does that horrible miss where it hits the back. And it just ends up in Ross Aid. And then I somehow gather it and hit one, and get one more 3. I had 4 3-point shots, and I didn't even have to hit a half-court shot, and I could have won a $5,000 jewelry store gift card.
I told you a friend of mine won that, cool, calm, and collected 3 in a row. He won the diamond ring, and he was like, I said to him, I think he's a Boiled Sports guy still. I know he was for years. He's an amazing fan. He hasn't missed a Purdue game in well over 100 games. I want
this guy. Yeah.
Chad. He's a great guy. But I said, did you just win a diamond ring? And he said, yeah, I'm gonna take the cash and go put a down payment on a minivan. I was like, that's a dad right there.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't believe I choked.
But you know what? You choked though. You choked though because you're a kid and you're in front of all your friends. Yeah. A guy that's there, he's like, nobody's watching. Weeknight game.
That's it.
So he did this at a basketball game. So does he go to all the basketball games too?
He doesn't go to all of them, but he goes to many. He's a good fan.
He must live there. Does he live in Lafayette?
No, he doesn't live there. He lives, I think, in Westfield now.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's a commitment.
Yeah. He's a dude. So good athlete. So he's also 6'6", 6'5". He's just like a substantial man. So
somehow we came back to basketball. Well, what do you want us to talk about?
Yeah. Tell us. You give us a question about football and
yeah. What would you? I think that's enough about the Ohio State.
I mean,
how about that?
Exactly. The bye week could not be in a better time. You need it, and it gets you a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of recovery and rest, and extra time to plan against a game that how incredible would it be to go into Nebraska and win? Again, Nebraska, like Boiler Dad said, is, to quote Scott Frost, is it's like the Michael Jordan, Michael Scott, the quote. You know what I mean? It's quoting somebody else who's quoting somebody else who is said it incorrectly. Is a winnable game. This is a winnable game and both teams will see it as that.
Oh yeah.
Now it probably, like Boiler Dad said, like you said, it probably kind of leans towards Nebraska because they are just bigger on the lines, bigger Nebraska in the trenches, and it's in Nebraska. Exactly.
Yeah, that's such a big deal on a coin flip game. That's a big deal. Being at home and there are a lot of Purdue players. I keep saying this. They're in new roles, playing more significant amounts, and now you're playing Nebraska. Nebraska's it's a big stadium.
Nebraska's offense is not good.
No, they're not good. Nebraska's not good, and neither is Purdue, guys. I got bad news for everybody. Okay, so that's the thing. I was trying to be nice. Was it the Illinois game? 2 mediocre teams. Do you remember me saying that?
Yes.
Okay. Illinois,
Man.
Purdue, Nebraska, Northwestern, Minnesota, IU, bad teams. Bad teams.
Let's
bad
stop
teams,
talking.
bad teams.
Let's stop talking about Purdue, because what we should be talking about, first of all, what happened that Maryland choked? Like I thought
Well, that was horrible.
I thought we got over this. Maryland choked.
No,
that's
see,
incredible.
you can get over it, but their coaching staff is still their coaching staff. They can't get out of their own way. It's incredible. That
and
was
Tagovailoa is still awesome, but
he's
it's like,
great.
how do you,
He's gonna be on. He's gonna be playing on Sundays. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then J Money and J Money Jr. and I spent the afternoon just watching incredible games.
Great games.
But
until 2 a.m. Great games.
Oregon Washington,
man,
is the best.
The
game
fact that
I've
wasn't on at 10 p.m. was a treat. It started at, I guess, 4 or something.
Yeah, it was a weird time. Yeah.
Or 3:30 Eastern, which meant it was a 12:30 start in the Pacific, which is really weird.
They got robbed for such a beautiful game. What a wonderful game. Amazing location. I love that's a place I want to see a game. Amazing location. Great atmosphere.
But that game, just
2 of the best quarterbacks in the nation.
Back and forth, and just nobody it just nobody was in. Oh, they scored again on us. Oh, we went for it on 4th down 3 times.
And it wasn't swinging Phoenix. Rock solid.
Right.
Oh, he's so good, man. He's so good.
Did you guys know that IU had him on their roster?
I didn't know that. I was not
Who
aware.
was their,
I was not aware.
but who was their OC? I bet it wasn't.
Oh, he never
somebody that
amounted to
wasn't
anything.
that
I don't
good.
think.
Right.
I mean, he's the Heisman favorite.
He's the Heisman
gracious.
The Heisman favorite, and his coach, maybe the coach of the year, used to be on your team in IU in Bloomington playing football.
Yeah, around the time when Daryl Hazel happened to have a bunch of guys who went on to be great coaches somehow. Like
that's
none of this stuff makes any sense.
What is going on here?
Right.
How are those two teams not playing for the Big Ten championship the week after the bucket game?
It's. I mean, that was so good. Both teams. My thing there is that I know that they knocked Oregon down, but whatever. Or Oregon didn't really move, and Washington. I think that's the rare game where both of those teams should be like, okay, these two are clearly so much better than everybody else in front of them.
It's that SEC argument for many years, right? And I hope it stays consistent, but I don't think it will.
No,
I think that the ESPN SEC bias is blatant and it's repetitive and it's bullshit. And the Pac-12 this year is very, very good.
The Pac-12 is so.
I think both of them. I think both of them should make the playoff. Florida State, and then who's our fourth that keeps both
Michigan.
the Big Ten and the SEC out?
You want the Big Ten out too?
Yeah, of course. But I can't get greedy. Greedy.
Yeah,
Michigan is good. We should just forfeit that game.
Just don't bother.
We should not play it. I know their schedule has been cake, and I know they haven't.
But they've trucked everybody without.
That's the thing. That's the solid argument for Michigan. It's not who they're playing; it's how they're playing.
What's the stat? They haven't had a. They haven't had a.
They had given
goal
up
to go.
Oh, they haven't.
They haven't allowed a goal. Like they haven't allowed an opponent to be within the 10-yard line.
Yeah, they give up like a weird touchdown every game, and that's all. It's
incredible. It's incredible. That team is so good. Again, and in the Big Ten, Penn State is is next, and then Ohio State is a distant third, and then it's everybody else. Meanwhile, this moron, speaking right now, told you 2 months ago to bet on Iowa to win the Big Ten West.
Yes,
they're going to. By the way, they're not going. I said it during the post game. They're going to win 10 games. No, they're going to win 11. They're going to win 11. They're going to be 11-1, gentlemen.
No, I think they'll be 10-2.
We were making
who's going to sneak up? Look at that schedule, man. Who you got?
Making fun of them in the preseason, and then we looked at their schedule and we're like, "Oh,
that was the game. The Wisconsin game was the game.
That was
because remember I reminded you all of this. Here's the rest of their season. They play one more road game the rest of the year.
Right. Yeah, and that defense is real. That defense is real and solid and good, and the offense, but the defense is so good.
He's got a quarterback throwing for 25 yards a game, and he must absolutely love it. No wasted efficiency here. We don't need. Why would you want him to throw for more than that? We're winning the game.
All field position battle.
Michigan,
though, an interception for a touchdown.
But Michigan, guys, they've given up 3, 7, 6, 7, 7, 10, 7. Like,
Good Lord.
That's incredible.
It is.
Like, so yeah, they've beaten some. I mean, but they beat they're not good teams. They're going to play some. Well, are they? Let me look here. They play Penn State and Ohio State. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. If they don't stumble between one of those, and then they have to play the Big Ten title game.
Okay.
If they beat both of those, again, they're not going to stub their toe.
They're going to mash Iowa into the turf.
But again,
Purdue.
That defense is good, but yes, they're going to mash them into the turf.
They're going to mash them.
If they do that, the most likely is
Iowa lost 31-0 to Penn State. But go on. Sorry,
say that again.
Iowa lost 31-0 to Penn State.
Yeah,
so
you're right. No, you're right. You're right. No,
so
you're right. It's going to be a bloodbath.
Sorry.
It's going to be an absolute bloodbath. The most likely playoff right now is Georgia, Michigan. One of the Pac-12s in Florida State.
My fear is that Washington loses a game and then they shut out the Pac-12 because
it's going to be so stupid.
Because that's the kind
why
of
not?
bullshit.
Yep.
Right. When they're the best conference this year.
And then they're going to put Texas in there or something like that.
We were saying, can you imagine watching that Washington-Oregon
or OU,
game
I guess,
and knowing they're playing the same sport that Iowa and Wisconsin were playing at the same time? Can you imagine?
I love that stuff. I love that thought process. You're like, this doesn't make any sense.
This isn't
These two games don't make any sense. No.
But imagine Oregon playing against Iowa, how ugly that would be. Iowa makes every game unwatchable.
Did you actually hold on? Is it Iowa plays Minnesota this weekend? I think
they do.
Have you looked at it yet? Don't look at it. Yeah. Do you? Can you guess
what the over under is?
Can you guess what the over under is?
I won't go because you.
35.
32.
32 points. College football. 32.
Oh my God,
that's awful.
What am I lying about? Greg McManus says that Jay lies.
Well, you lies about everything.
What did I just say?
You always lie.
I literally don't remember what I just said.
I don't know.
I don't either. It was so good. You were on such a roll that I don't remember any of it. Is that a good thing?
Are we supposed to be paying attention to you? I've already unsubscribed.
And the only reason is you in your comments when you asked for your money back was Jay lies.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would like a Nebraska win after the bye, and then I would like us to take another bye during the Michigan week, and then prep for the last 3 weeks against.
Dude, if you beat Nebraska,
Minnesota.
all of a sudden, I can tell you, Purdue fans will be percolating with hope. If they lose to Nebraska, I think you'll have some people really angry.
Oh yeah.
It could be a swing anger game. I mean it's those two. Minnesota too. Like to me, and that one's at home, so that
I can almost hear the rage in them saying underneath their breath, "Don't deny me this Pinstripe Bowl."
They've never gone to the Pinstripe Bowl. You use that all the time.
I use that because it's the shittiest bowl to me. I hate that bowl.
It's a bad.
It's in New York in December.
In Yankee Stadium.
Lovely.
Oh my gosh. It's in a baseball stadium. I hate it so much. I hate everything about that bowl. It's the perfect emblem of why the little bowls need to go away. And I know I'm a little bit against myself here because I love bowl season, but also I hate these bowls. I hate these 6 and 6 bowls. They don't matter at all.
Would you be in favor of just changing it so you have to have a winning record to go to a bowl?
Yes. Yes, right now.
Cut them back and be 7-5 or better. Now you're going to have decent teams.
I think an overarching theme. I think in every product should be leave them wanting more. Right? Don't oversaturate the market with your product. And it's by putting those 6 and 6 games. You have so many in the background at a holiday party, whatever, Christmas party, a business party, whatever, and you're like, this is a dog shit game. This doesn't matter. Central Michigan versus Purdue and Detroit. Who cares?
The Purdue
fans are like, you know what? I'll go up to Detroit.
Shout out to Dan Lefevre.
Right, exactly. Get the fever. Lefevre v. Painter 3.
I was going to say 3 times in one calendar year, right?
Yeah.
2 bowls and a regular season.
Mercy.
Purdue won all 3 though. That's back when Purdue
3-0. 3-0, and they scored like 7,000 points in those 3 games. And the only people that cared were in Kalamazoo and West Lafayette.
Yeah, I think we should take Greg's path here from Michigan. Oops, the plane broke down. No buses available. The roads are closed.
Roads are closed.
And it's terrible. Our driver has diphtheria, and we can't go.
It's like Oregon Trail.
That's right. We can't.
Can't do it. We're so sorry. We really want to be there too.
We'll take the loss. You can take the win. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. We're going to do that anyway. It's fine.
And Big Ten Network, it's probably Big Ten Network. You can show a classic Bo Schembechler game.
There you go. There
We'll
you
call
go.
it even. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
No problem. No, nobody's unhappy about that.
Meanwhile, IU and Purdue, the bowl game, the bucket this year is going to be just such tremendous trash.
Epic.
Just two trash football teams limping to the end.
It's funny if I don't watch, like the bottom of the Big Ten, like those teams play. Like I'm just like I don't care at all about those teams, right?
Nope.
And then I'll just check in. I'm like, oh yeah, they still suck.
Because you
just to make sure
we were watching Pac-12 football and and whatever else. And we watched Notre Dame USC and Tennessee A&M because that's somebody was asking you in the post game to talk about other stuff.
We may need to have a Jimbo segment every week now.
It's so, but okay, this is what I've explained to you guys before about why I love college football so much. There are so many things that fall into my bucket of this is going to be fun no matter what happens.
Right.
It doesn't matter. There's some like Dion at Colorado. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Win, lose, win in dramatic fashion, lose in dramatic fashion. It's always going to be entertaining.
Yes, that was fun. That was a fun one.
That was great.
Brian Kelly at LSU.
Brian Kelly at LSU. It's going to be funny somehow.
There's going to be a punchline. It might be early in the season, it might be late, but it's going to be funny.
Well, what did we say? Even if he won a national title, if he won the SEC, that would be hilarious because they spent years beating his ass at Notre Dame, and he went down there and said, "All right, well, I'll just come here and
beat him, join him."
Fine. It's so good. It's so good. And Jimbo flailing about. I got to do this. I've been meaning to put up an update on him versus Kevin Sumlin at A&M. Everybody, he got pushed out of there because he was no good. We got to.
Yeah, he was the worst.
Sumlin still has a better record.
Oh no. Yeah. Oh no!
Yeah,
shocking.
Now and it's not even like you can say, well, they're in the SEC. He was there when they went into the SEC and went to the SEC title game. I think in their first year.
Right. Yeah, it's wild.
It's so much fun. Yep. They're 4-3. They're 4-3 with Jimbo this year. It's so great. It's so great.
There's, by the way, Anish. I know. See, this is one of those things. I think Jay Anish. I know Anish thinks that I don't want to misquote. Do you think Urban Meyer will never coach college football again?
Yeah, I think he's done. Yeah.
Okay.
And both of us
now there are rumors, and they are percolating about Urban.
Now, nobody did that?
No. So we got the balloons again for the second week. I
got them. I won. Is it?
I think it might be some gang sign that you're doing that's triggering the balloons.
I have no idea what's going on.
Exactly at an hour and 21 minutes, apparently.
We've won. We've won. I thought it was just me, but really we've all won. We're all winners.
But Boiler Dad was in a different spot on the screen last week. So it is just you. It's just following you. It's incredible.
I'm earning it.
It's incredible. I don't know. What were we talking about?
No, I was talking about Urban Meyer rumors.
Oh, yeah.
So Urban Meyer to Texas A&M, that makes so much sense. And there's Jay's equation where you say, oh my gosh, this is going to be fun. There will be entertainment, right? Because that one ends with massive amount of felonies, right? And huge violations of.
Well, let's say it doesn't. Let's say he wins. I still think it's funny because they had to go to him.
They had to go to the evilest of all.
They had to sell their souls and bring him in, and then that would be funny because I don't think he'd be. I actually think he's
going to be more successful in Jimbo. You know that.
Yes. Because he doesn't care because he'll bend every rule. I don't think Jimbo's filthy. I think he's.
Oh, I do. But I think Meyer is filthier.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think Jimbo,
and based on what Michael says about living near A&M, they're willing to do anything to win. And to me, that's why that starts making sense. It's got to be a program that's like that.
I think if Urban Meyer ever comes back, there isn't even, usually there's the peak and then the fall. Yeah. I don't think that it doesn't peak at all. It's an instant fall. He's gone. He's done. He's over. He's done with. So I don't think, he's got nothing left there. So
was one of you saying that if he goes 7-5, they'll fire him? I don't know.
Yeah, me.
True. You were saying that. Okay. Well, the rest of their schedule, they're 4-3. They host South Carolina this week. Let's say they win that. They win that game. Go to Ole Miss on November 4th. I think they lose that game.
They lose that game.
To lose to the future coach of
future
Texas A&M.
coach,
Okay.
Yes. Then they host Mississippi State. They win that game. So now they're at 6 wins. And then they have Abilene Christian, like every good SEC school schedules in late
7.
November. That's 7. And then they finish at LSU, which they'll probably lose. They're going to go 7-5.
7-5.
That's kind of like awesome, right? Because that's
the tweet
perfectly, because you're not mediocre. Right. You're 7-5.
What was the tweet that said they've predicted the next 20 years?
Gosh,
of
there was
A&M
somebody
football?
took a picture of a A&M message board, and the guy said, "I'm pretty close to the program, so I can tell you how the next 20 years or 30 years are going to go." And he has every year every year the record is 7-5, and
some years,
and every 5 it says coach fired, new coach hired, much fanfare. Then 7-5, 7-5, 7-5. Coach fired, new coach hired, much fanfare. 7-5.
I like this one. Let's go to this
Matt.
one, Dr. Matt.
Mr. Matt.
If you
Don't-
could,
don't-
Mr.
don't
Matt
elevate
DSM.
him.
I'm not too sure what
doctor.
exactly. If you could pick a home and home for Purdue with any other school, who would you pick?
Well, now are we taking away the fact that because Washington's a good answer,
Right.
but
I love
let's
Washington.
assume
they're going to
that
go there eventually.
the Boiled Sports contingent gets 2 tickets each in this package deal, in this negotiated package deal.
Ole Miss.
And we can't answer Hawaii
Really?
and Timmy Chang. What would you
I
say?
would.
Ole
He
Miss.
said Ole Miss.
Ole
That's a
Miss.
good pick.
That's an interesting.
That'd be a fun place to go to a game.
Absolutely.
That'd be really fun to go to a game there.
I would probably.
And there'd be all the fun around, about before that game. It'd just be fun.
You were going to go somewhere, and I saw the smirk. There was somewhere we were going, and it changed.
Yeah.
I would probably. My bucket list place to see a football game that I haven't yet is A&M. I really want to see a football game there.
We
And
can make that happen. I think
we can make it
know
happen.
somebody
Michael
that
basically
we can
lives
make
there.
that
I know.
happen.
There's
Yeah,
no
exactly.
excuse. There's no excuse to not go. But I think that'd be fun. I think, but the home and
They
home
say
idea.
that's
I guess
a
this is a good
palace,
question because do you want to play a program that's going to come to your place and slap you
Exactly.
around? You don't want to say Alabama.
Right.
I want to
No,
go
you
and
don't
see
wanna
a
say
game
Alabama.
in Baton Rouge. Like I would love to go to
That's a
Baton
good one.
Rouge. That's
Mhm.
that. I
I'll
think
let you
that's number one on my I
Texas,
want to
UT.
do it.
I'd like to
But
see a game at UT.
so in my serious answer, I think UT might be it.
Yeah,
I
that's pretty
really
good.
want kind of UT is a
I'd put
UT is a
A&M over
great
UT.
one. But if you
Doesn't LSU and Texas just scared the crap out of you?
exactly. Which
Like
is
I
why
mean,
I don't
like
necessarily
we
want
remember LSU. We I think no, Purdue hasn't played them recently, so
No.
yeah, that didn't happen. So
but we were talking
SC?
about
don't
so
know.
we were talking about like the similar tier of Purdue programs that we have affinity for. I would love an Oregon State or a Washington State. Like, I mean,
we've got the
those-
Oregon
That would be
State
fun.
those are we
Go
have
to a
Oregon State,
Wazoo
we just
game.
got that, but Wazoo, like that would be crazy
That
because
would be fun.
there's no reason to go there except
Wisconsin
for
had fun
like,
in Washington
I know.
and Pullman. They had a great time. this year.
similar
Like Atlanta,
similar the
Wyoming.
NC.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, I love Wyoming.
Wyoming home and home.
Hey, that's
I
a
mean,
good point.
and then you go
We
down.
may go
those-
2-0 in that one. Let's go.
I was
And I
gonna
get
do
to go to the
this.
mountains. Let's go.
Wyoming is on one side of it. The other side, like App, would be a ton of
Oh,
fun.
App State would be.
Like
I hear
beautiful.
their fans are pretty.
yeah,
tough.
but in the I mean, it might be the most beautiful stadium location.
Mhm.
Like Colorado is up there. Like
Colorado's beautiful, yeah.
Wyoming is beautiful, and then the App in just the mountains is incredible. But we have like these like kindred spirit programs that we called Virginia Tech, like
Mhm.
NC State, something like that. Like that would be a fun
Or like you
know,
said,
Oregon
Washington
State
State.
and Washington State
Yeah.
are
I think
pretty
to me-
cool.
We were
to
discussing
me,
that. They're
that's-
just like Purdue.
Yeah.
where
That's
they're-
why we love them.
Right. Wait, so there's a couple other good ones in the comments. I have to say, Ryan Klippish says Purdue on the blue turf at Boise State.
Well, I'll tell you why I don't like that one. I don't like that one because I get, especially now since Boise slipped down to a few rungs, right?
Yeah.
You have nothing to gain there.
Yeah.
True.
I don't like
Oh.
that type of game.
Oh, I love the Noodles answer of a K-State home and home in both football and basketball. Like, oh, now we're talking. Package both of them together.
right.
Oh, now you've got it with me. There we go. I love this.
Would that bring Kansas up a few rungs for you to get to go to see?
Oh yeah, Yeah,
Rock
sure.
Chalk.
Greg
That's
McManus.
on one I'd love
Greg
to go
McManus
see.
with a good one here. The Colorado State Stadium is right on the foothills of the Rockies. Looks amazing. That would be great. You go to a game in Colorado, but you play a kind of a not great program. I like that a lot.
But that's
Still
why I
nothing
like
to
Laramie.
gain.
That's why I like Laramie.
Yes.
I know.
feel
I
like
think the more that
Let's
we
go to the
talk
Kibbe
about
Dome.
this, yeah, exactly. Go
There
to
you
the
go.
Kibbe. I need to get that
Idaho.
home field shirt, man.
Idaho
The more and
played
more.
Montana State this weekend. It was on TV.
I think they played Montana heavy. I think
Yes,
they played
Montana
Montana
Right.
diesel.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But that was on TV. I was like, wow, this is weird. Why is this on? I really didn't even know.
By the way,
This is awesome, man.
Frail Hammers throws in a bad either or.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I know I've been asking for good ones. This is a challenge. He says, would you rather Urban beat Braum in the college football playoff or Kelly beats Freeman?
Urban beating Braum. I can't. Jim
Kelly.
Brian Kelly.
How
I
dare you.
can't.
Kelly's
I
insane.
don't want that discourse. I just don't want it. I don't want it from anybody involved. I'm good. I will pass. No,
In that
thank you.
scenario, Notre Dame loses.
Kelly beating
in a painful way.
Freeman is it's interesting. It's a more interesting story,
Yes.
obviously.
I know,
Yes.
but like I don't.
I'm with
want
you, though.
Freeman on that. Like I
You
don't
don't
want.
want-
Freeman.
But the
You guys-
funny thing about that is it cements more and more that Notre Dame, you have a place and it isn't up there.
Yeah,
Which
right.
I love.
That's
love
what
That
fun.
is pretty funny.
Yes.
That is pretty funny.
And the other scenario is Brahm's making the playoff, which I don't think, even if you're okay with Brahm I don't think you want to see that.
I don't want that.
No. But it does, I mean, I know things are getting all thrown around with college football, but I do think there's a clearer path because of the crappiness of the ACC. Like there's a
least
better
for
chance
now.
you could go 12-0 at Louisville than you could at Purdue. I don't think
For
you
the
can.
next
yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
again, assuming that nothing in the next 3
You
years
sneaked in the way
changes with
Cincinnati did.
getting the
You could
college
do it
football.
there.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that at Purdue.
Yeah.
So
It seems like the ACC, especially with Clemson falling back down to earth.
yeah.
Man, the path is easy in the ACC. Rise up for a year, man.
Yep. They're there. They're doing it.
Right? Right?
But they again, like Dowd said, that they avoid the big the
Yes.
heavyweights in the ACC. But that's scheduling. It's a part of it. I mean, like you
Right.
play
big
your
advantage.
schedule. Like
Purdue
exactly.
did
I
that
mean,
last
like
year.
yeah, exactly. Purdue won the West last year. Like it is what it is.
So the
So
ACC
Duke
did-
right now, Duke's the best team in the ACC?
I think Florida State's better.
Florida
Yeah,
State, my
Florida
bad.
State.
I completely
Yeah.
forgot them.
And,
No, but-
and I think
and-
North Carolina's better too.
Florida
And
State's
by-
great. Florida
And by
State's
the
great.
way, again, like if Jimbo gets fired, we can make the Dion jokes and we can make the Urban jokes. They're getting Mike Elko back. Like that's what happens.
You think
like
so?
They
That's not a
overpaid
flashy
Mike
enough
Elko.
A&M?
He was their defensive coordinator
I
for
get it,
years.
but-
no, he's coming back. They are backing the Brinks up for him. He's really, really good. Like that probably happens.
But they
Do
talk
I
to
have
some different
anything I
people.
can hate in that guy, though? That's a problem.
Right.
That's a really,
Very hard.
No,
I don't like
he's
that
just
scenario.
a normal. He's just
No.
a
And
normal
he took a
good
job
coach.
that's like he took Duke
yeah.
and is doing well with it. That's hard to
That's
hate on
scary
him.
stuff.
That's like
Where's
Yeah.
Scott Frost's next? That's a good question, Jay. Where does Scott Frost next have a coaching job?
I hope A&M. That would be hilarious.
I think he ends up at UCF would. I think I said to you guys a while back that was my prediction. That would make so much sense.
Yeah.
Because it's the only place he had any success.
Yeah.
He won't again. But like I feel like he's going to end up at some place like that, like kind of a second tier. He's not going to get another top tier job. I don't think he hasn't shown anything,
No,
any aptitude for it. Like so, but I do.
he
think
was
he'll
living a
be-
pretty good second, third life, whatever you want to call it. Brady Hoke, he's got a pretty sweet deal.
Hey,
Where's he now?
if
San Diego State,
yeah,
Oh, is
and
that
he
where
looks younger now. He's in shape. He's got a tan.
it's San Diego, man.
Imagine
That's
living
what
in San
happens.
Diego.
Pretty nice.
That's what-
Good on
that's
Brady.
where
Hoke.
humans.
Lavin just took the San Diego basketball job.
Yeah, that's where humans are
Didn't know
supposed to
that.
be.
That's
La-
awesome.
San Diego, not San Diego State,
Right.
not the Final Four team.
Right.
San Diego, which I didn't even realize had like a basketball program.
Right.
And I saw somebody saying, "Why was the right time?" Well, I wanted to get back into coach. San Diego offered you a job. and you're
Exactly.
so glad.
Millions to go live in San
And
Diego.
he lived in
coach.
LA. He was UCLA's coach and loved
Right.
it there.
Right.
Famously cried when they lost in the tournament. Like he cares. But what a great job. What a great job. No one doesn't mean no pressure.
That's
Right.
it.
You're San
Awesome.
Diego. Although
think
I guess your rival, I assume San Diego State's their rival. I don't know. But they just went to the Final
I
Four.
don't know.
which is nuts.
Right.
Oh, that's right. They went, and Florida Atlantic went to the Final Four.
And they're ranked 15? We're back to
Florida
basketball
Atlantic,
again?
I think it's 10.
Or Florida Atlantic, yeah. Because they returned everybody. Dusty May.
Do they return everybody? I thought they were.
Coach.
I thought they were super old. Was I? Am I wrong about that?
It's COVID. Who knows?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But,
everybody's 26.
But future IU coach Dusty May is doing good down in Florida. They won't. They'll probably flop a little bit, but that's all right.
By the way, MVP of today's show goes to Ryan Klippich. Another good question. He says he calls Coach O sweat stained beignets, which I think is a little mean. But he said, where does he take over midseason? Does he take over at A&M now? Man, that is a great.
That's a fun one. That'd be
interim
a fun one.
at A&M.
I would like Ed Orgeron to be interim Speaker of the House. Nobody's up for the job.
Right.
Nobody's up for the job.
You don't have to be in Congress.
To be filled. Let's all-time interim.
I
entertained it. We'd all be tuning into C-SPAN. Everybody.
I've been saying for years he should be a permanent interim coach. That should be his job.
It's a great.
You bring him in like Winston role to solve your problem. Just bring him in, and he gets you guys going. And while you look for your coach, he makes them. He
like a classic, 1980s action show. At the end of his term, he walks off with an old rucksack on his back into a street right down the center, and he's walking into the sunset.
That might
at the
be
end of
what
his
he does
2-year
anyway.
term.
That might be what he does anyway.
But every time he leaves with nicer jeans because he can afford them. That's what. Did you guys see him on that talk show when he's talking about? Yeah, I don't have any hard feelings. He was like all gussied up in fancy clothes. That was crazy. I was like, they wear fancy clothes.
Yeah, they paid him like $20 million.
Exactly, just to leave.
They paid him Tom Allen's buyout. I can't not laugh. I saw some on Twitter after they lost, and this was great too. There was all this Tom Allen trending in Indiana. I don't know, but he was trending on Twitter that because the fans wanted him fired. And I was like, what did you think was going to happen against Michigan though?
Exactly.
It's like Purdue against Ohio State. What did you think? You're angry that they lost? Where are your expectations as an IU fan? But $20 million buyout when your season is already gone. Why would you even?
I don't know what is his buyout drop to this year. I really don't have enough.
It drops a lot, but not till
next year.
The way it's written is
it's not December. It's next.
It's like April or something stupid, or it's some weird.
His agent's a genius.
Yes,
correct. Right. He's got another year unless they want to eat $20 million.
Future, no way. I think.
I thought the 20 mil was last year, and this year it dropped to
it's 20 right
16, 15.
I think Greg McManus brought it up earlier, but future IU coach Scott Frost, I think, would be a future that all of us would enjoy. I think we should try it. We should
try it on for size,
just to see what happens.
To see if we like it. We probably would. So. Yeah, well, this is the type. By the way, I've theorized many times, but not with you guys really all that much. But if we decided to broaden our scope a little bit and had a weekly show about not just Purdue, if Purdue has a bunch of games that are just hard to talk about,
let's just
But let's
go national. Let's put and then we'll start sending the tapes out, and soon we'll be rich. The three of us will be rich.
We should send tapes.
Send tapes out. That's the problem. We will send reel to reel tapes. And no one will know how to use them, and we'll stay.
I'll set up my camera over my shoulder, and it'll film the screen.
Good.
There you go. Now we're.
Or I'll just hold it the whole time.
Yeah,
it'll be a bootleg of your own show. I love it.
So we may be on next week. We may not. We may just leave it to a quick cast or two,
bye week.
Then return. We may take a bye as well. Mm-hmm. We may do the Would You Rather show. Who knows? Who knows?
Will there be balloons?
Brian, will there be balloons?
Matt says every week is a mailbag episode. That'd be.
Right.
He's talking about. I think your alternate show idea is just No, Matt, you don't get to write the show. No,
even though you're good.
But I don't want to write the show, so Matt can write the show. That's fine. Let's let other people do our work for us.
One of the things on this vacation that I've got, my whole family stays under one roof, and my dad asked right before I was coming upstairs to do the show. He said, "What's the script look like this week?" The same as every week.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny when we saw Chris Harder, our friend, and he told you and I. He walked up and he was serious, and he said, "I'm thinking of doing a podcast, and I hope he does this. And if you have started it, you better send it to me, Chris, because I don't know about hockey." And he said, "I want to know how much." He seriously, I thought it was a bit, but he was serious. He's like, "How much prep do you guys put into each show?"
Didn't we just kind of look at each other when he said it?
Hours.
He goes, "You guys are the experts." I was like, "No, not in any way."
Our prep is we just watch a lot of college football on Saturdays, and we do it for the last 20 years.
Maybe throw back a couple text messages, maybe.
And you watch Purdue basketball for your life. That's the other way you prep.
And then you text like,
and
"Hey,
instead of
remember
therapy,
this guy?" Just constantly.
Right. Was he on that team? Yeah.
Who was with in the picture that Painter posted this weekend from the '93 team?
Oh, Tim Irvin was in there?
Yeah, Tim Irvin. Yeah, that's it.
That was an amazing picture because I haven't seen Tim Irvin. It wasn't even since I graduated. It was since my sophomore year in college. Because I think Tim Irvin graduated my freshman year. Jay, do you remember Tim Irvin? That'll answer the question.
No.
There you go. So Jay is a year behind me at Purdue. And so Tim Irvin was Glenn Robinson's buddy. So Tim Irvin got a walk-on spot on the team, and Tim Irvin is 5'6", and he was a favorite of the fans, like
the mayor of Mackey.
Buckets.
Yes.
No, not Buckets. He's thinking of
Oh,
wow.
Boy. And he's on the coaching staff right now, guys. We're all drawing.
Why are we doing that to him?
It's horrible. And I don't have any. I'm not getting closer in my brain. But anyway, he was a huge fan favorite, and so everybody loved Tim Irvin. He got in, and this is back when Katie would, when the games, getting out of hand, it was like the crowd just started rising their feet. Here comes Tim Irvin. Here comes Tim Irvin. He came in, but there's a great picture of Brantley, Robinson, Tommy Luce, son of a biscuit. Yes. So it's Brantley, Robinson, Irvin, Painter. Was there one more? There was one more, wasn't there, in that picture? Do you remember, Anish?
Zoe.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of fans out there were like, "Who's the short guy in front?" Well, I knew the short guy in front was because I love Tim Irvin, right? I mean, like if you were,
You love short guys.
As fellow short guy, exactly. He was living my dream. If only I would have been better friends with Glenn Robinson. I mean, we were already great friends.
How did we do an hour and 41 minutes after this game?
We didn't talk about it very much.
Exactly.
We should get out of here.
Yeah. Well, thanks to everybody. Thanks for Tommy Luce. Thanks for Timmy Irvin. Thanks to Jay. Thanks to Anish. I'm Boiler Dowd. It was fun reliving the memories of Ohio State. I'm looking forward to basketball. I love you guys. Good night.